Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's PrestoStats training for PrestoStats Field Hockey. My name is Brad Sagan. I'm the Director of Marketing with us today, Zaid, and he's going to go through everything field hockey A to Z. So excited to walk through that with you. So let's get into a little bit about what we're going to talk about. It's an easy and familiar platform for anyone that's used to doing field hockey, maybe in stat crew, but it's going to be fairly easy and approachable for you. PrestoStats is going to take a lot of the heartache out of it and make it a little bit easier for you. Also, and Zaid's going to go into this schedules and rosters for NCAA schools, which should be the vast majority of you, would go directly through NCAA Manager. So those would be entered there rather than our platform. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Zaid, and he's going to walk you through the platform. So Zaid, take it away.
Thank you, Brad. Happy to be here. Thanks for the introduction. We will start off by logging into the platform. This could change depending on whether you're purely a stats client or if you're a stats and a website client. Your credentials would have been provided to you by your onboarding manager. Upon logging in, you're taken to the main game day administration view. Um, Again, if you are logging in through another domain, through your primary website domain, you might have a few extra tabs here. And for the purpose of this demo, we will just solely go into the season for field hockey. Typically, if you have multiple seasons that you can access, you will see a list of all those seasons here, given that there is a game scheduled for the given day that you are on. You're free to tab through if that is the path you should so desire to take. We will go into the season. You may also go directly into the season from this view. This presents a list of active seasons in which teams are participating in that you have access to. Also, you'll see a given scheduled events for the given day, and we will actually go directly into this event as we launch the platform to demonstrate the stat collection process. Upon accessing the season, you'll see a number of tabs. You'll have your overview, lists out the events for the week. You'll have the schedule. The schedule is actually a list of if you have one team, you may just simply see this view. If you have multiple teams that you can access, you will have to define a team to select. And we'll dive deeper into the stats tab once we start entering stats for the game. And the rosters tab. Here is do this before game day. Rosters come from both teams' SIDs. You don't want to be scrambling right before game start to finalize your rosters. We have a few different ways you can go about that within game day CMS, where we lie at this moment. You can add an individual player, ensure that they're set to active if you desire to have them participate in the event. You may also import a Stat Crew SRO roster. And we do have the ability to import many players via CSV file. We'll navigate back to the schedule. The schedule is essentially where you're going to access your events. This will really be your first click in the press box on game day. Ensure that the game details are squared away before the opening pass so that they're set in the record from the start. If you need to review those details, we can do so here. Let's add an address. Let's add a venue. Okay, and let's launch the event. Presence of this button is determined by access, your user's access. So if your user does not have access to Stats platform, you will not see this option. We do have rudimentary score sheet entry. For the purpose of this demo, we will go through the live scoring. Upon accessing the platform, you'll notice some warning messages that are requiring you to set up your rosters, set up the game, and choose your starting goalkeepers. So, team IDs here. Also, designate your referees and assistant referees. All of this will persist in your box score. Notice that the location is inherited from the event in game day as well. And you can define keystrokes for teams as desired. And you may also set different minutes, periods, and overtime minutes. We'll define your starters. We'll just click through the first 5 here. Ensure you set it for both teams, set them for both teams. Your current lineups are defined. And let's set our goalkeepers. Okay, so I think we're in good shape here to start the live play entry. This is really the core of the statistician's job. Mastering these steps will ensure you have accurate data for each player. Right off the bat, I just want to point out some sections on the view. You have your time clock here, which can be controlled by the spacebar or F6 keystroke. And we can also manually define and set your time at any point in the game. We have the start over button if you're ever halfway through a play and you need to revert back to the original state. Rosters are available for access at any point in the game. So if you need to edit a player for any reason, you may feel free to do so. Same with the setup, as well as a help tab. This help tab is going to be useful and outlines a series of use cases that you may need to accomplish during the game. We also have a live scoring cheat sheet, and as well as instructions for importing rosters. We'll go back to the add play view. So typically, you would start off with a team taking out the ball. So on a team takeout, the best way to go about this, we don't really collect stats for it. But if it's something that you need to track in order to mark who should start with the ball at the half, you can simply insert a comment. We'll say, okay. And we'll assume that the game has started here. Home team in possession of the ball. And we'll go through some of the options, some of the primary options you have within the play entry view. Taking a shot, you will require you to select a team that took that attempt. Say the home team took the attempt. It will define a player and define a result of the shot. In this case, we'll say that we had a defensive save. In case of a defensive save, you can select anybody on the field at the time from the opposing team, and we will inherit the time that you begin entering the play. And I think the next result, let's go through here, is in another shot. We'll see the home team takes another shot off of a rebound. We'll say the goalie made a save. 14:08 looks like an okay clock time. And Brett Conrad, the defined goalie, will have earned that save. In case of a goal, you'll be asked to enter a primary and secondary assist. A primary assist is neither are required. Just enter a primary assist here. We'll call it the first goal on the season. This will be preserved in your box score. Maybe we'll assume the time of the goal. Clock is stopped automatically. We can start the clock on the takeout. We have a few different ways you can go about entering fouls based on your rule sets. Simply entering a foul, finding the player, setting the time, will assign a foul to an individual player. You can proceed that with the penalty stroke, given that the shot was in the box. Say the shot went wide. Red card, yellow cards, and green cards can also be applied to individual players as needed. Say player on the bench. Player on the bench committed an infraction that led to a yellow card. It's important to note that the software will persist throughout internet outages. So once it's reconnected, we will persist sending updates through our network. Within the game control tab, there are a few important options here. Let's first set the clock to 00 and presume that we played an entire 12 minutes. And let's end the period. You go to game control, end period, and that would end the current period. Don't forget, you would need to start the second. The second period has been started, and you can hit spacebar or click the clock to set the time to in progress. At the half or between periods, media and coaches might want numbers fast. Same with your fans. This is where the live score entry really pays off. You do have the ability to obtain these reports directly in the application. We've played a first and a second period, so you are free, first and a second quarter. So you are free to view the current state, print the play-by-play, as well as the active roster, as well as the active lineup, I should say. We have multiple formats you can download the event in at any point during the game as well. For viewability, we will download a PDF. The current state of the game can be distributed throughout the field as needed. Furthermore, if you go back into game day and take a look at the event page, you'll notice a few changes. The game is in progress, denoted by the background color on the event information. Um, and we also have the updated status of the event. We're at 1-0, second period, with 14:29 remaining on the clock. Box score can also be viewed from this state. And we also have the ability to revert the box score to a previous version should you need to go back far enough to make changes. Let's go back into the platform here. Throughout the game as well, you might want to send your statistics to the NCAA. After you finalize it, that's always an option, or you can email it. We do also have the ability to integrate with stat partners. This is set on a team-by-team basis. So if we go back into game day, go into the stats tab, take a look at stat partners, and we would select edit partners here. We have a few predefined options, as well as the values we require to send these statistics to those endpoints. And you also have some other options where we can essentially drop an XML into an FTP server as long as we have the proper credentials provided. Secondly, we have PrestoSync. PrestoSync is a good tool that we promote that will allow you to connect the game in the most current live state to a video board or in-arena utility. You have two different versions you may download. Sure you select the right package for your machine. Essentially, PrestoSync will take the current XML of the game after each and every play is added, and it will update that XML on your local drive as changes are being entered via the stats platform. So upon logging into PrestoSync, you will use the same credentials that you use to log into game day. You'll be presented with a list of events. We will select the event that we are currently statting at the moment, and we want to send these statistics from Presto Sports to our local drive. Simply select the folder and define a file name. And select Start Transmission. The service will continuously ping our network looking for changes that have occurred in that game's file. And they can be found on your local drive. We'll show that here. This is the file we just created. And here is the file in the current state. Lastly, we'll work through finalizing this event. So let's stop the clock here. Go to Add Play. Let's go to Game Control and select Wrap Up. Sure you complete your game information. time is required, same as total time. Sure, we have all of our details accurate. Sure, you import your goalie records. And let's finalize the event by inputting the team records here. You will receive a success message. Let's go back to the event and game day. Some additional supplemental features. Now is a good time to send the box score to the NCAA if you need to. This is not an NCAA sanctioned season, so the system will prevent you from doing so if you are expecting to send it to the NCAA. And that option, you're receiving that error, please reach out to us. After the game's completed or at any point during the game, we do have a myriad of stat reports that are available for you within our game day platform. Just general team reports that can be downloaded by team. The game log by team as well. Advanced reports is a neat feature that we offer. Will essentially allow you to drill deeper into individual team reports. For a cleaner view and a deeper analysis. So that's a full game from logging in through the final numbers on the stadium's video board. Everything you entered now is the official record.
We want to thank you for viewing this PrestoStats training session. For additional content, help articles, and guidance on PrestoStats solutions, please visit help.prestosports.com. For support questions, please head to prestosports.com/support.